Pledge of
Recording in
Allegiance.
progress.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mayor Gerardo Anaya,
Present.
Vice Mayor Lorena Delgadillo,
Present.
Member Jesus Roldan,
Present.
Councilmember Luis Galindo,
Present.
Councilmember Miguel Villalpando, Councilmember Juan Castillo,
Present.
Councilmember Marta Gonzalez.
Present.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. We're going to move on. Call to the public. Anybody from the public wishing to address council?
The clerk didn't receive any speaker request forms.
Okay, there's none. We have 3 proclamations. The first one, item 5.1, sexual abuse awareness.
Whereas sexual assault awareness is intended to draw attention to the fact that sexual violence remains an inexcusable violent crime which impacts our community. Whereas every 68 seconds an American is sexually assaulted and every 9 minutes the victim is a child. Meanwhile, only 25 out of those 1,000 perpetrators will end up in prison, according to RAIN. Whereas sexual assault, as defined by CDC, sexual activity where consent is not obtained or freely given, sexual activity can include sexually explicit speech, harassment to touching, groping, fondling, or penetration. Whereas sexual violence affects not only the survivors of the violence, but also those close to them, such as friends, partners, and family members. Whereas a survivor needs to know that you believe them, care, and want to help. According to Arizona Coalition, 4 important messages that sexual assault survivors need to hear from you are actually very simple. I believe you. The assault was not your fault. Help is available. You are not alone. Remember to reassure them and validate their feelings. Whereas 1 in 4 women and 1 in 10 men have experienced sexual violence, physical violence, and/or stalking by an intimate partner during their lifetime. And whereas 42.6% of Arizona women and 33.4% of Arizona men experience intimate partner physical violence, intimate partner sexual violence, and/or intimate partner stalking. And whereas Somerton and surrounding counties have different resources to help the victims of sexual assault, expanding prevention, education, increasing awareness, building a strong continuum of victim services, and holding perpetrators accountable contribute to safer communities for all Arizonans. Whereas Sexual Assault Awareness Month provides an important opportunity to enhance education, prevention, and intervention efforts around sexual assault and support organizations and individuals who provide advocacy efforts, services, and assistance to victims. Now, therefore, I, Gerardo Anaya, Mayor of the City of Somerton, do hereby proclaim April 2025 Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and each day of the year is an opportunity to create change for the future.
Thank you. We have representatives from Catholic Community Services Safe House. Want to invite to come and receive the proclamation.
Oh, me? Okay, I'm good. Yeah, okay.
the denim day, what happened was that a young lady, the instructor, raped her. And because she was wearing tight jeans, they overturned because they said, how can she consent? So he ended up being released, and it started the denim. Because it doesn't matter what kind of jeans, what kind, even for little kids, for babies, for, we've seen everything at the shelter at Safe House, from a 4-year-old that I'll never get out of my head, a sexual assault from grandpa. It's never okay, consent. So please join us for the walk for here in Somerton, April 30th from 6 to 8. If you have any questions, I did leave some flyers. And I'm Gabby from Catholic Community Services. Thank you.
Thank you. We have the second proclamation, animal cruelty.
Whereas the prevention of animal cruelty and promotion of animal welfare is essential to maintaining a compassionate and just society. And whereas the city of Somerton recognizes that animals are sentient beings capable of experiencing pain, fear, and distress, deserving of protection under the law and ethical treatment by all members of our community. And whereas animal cruelty is strongly correlated with other forms of violence and animal and criminal behavior, making its prevention crucial to public safety and community well-being. And whereas the city of Somerton acknowledges the dedicated work of animal control officers, veterinarians, animal welfare organization, and volunteers who work tirelessly to prevent animal cruelty, rescue abused animals, and promote responsible pet ownership. And whereas education about animal welfare, responsible pet ownership, and the importance of reporting suspected animal cruelty is vital to creating a more humane community. And whereas the city of Somerton is committed to enforcing animal cruelty laws, supporting animal welfare initiatives, and promoting humane treatment for all animals within our jurisdictions. Now, therefore, I, Gerardo Anaya, Mayor of the City of Somerton, do hereby proclaim that April 2025 is recognized as Animal Cruelty Prevention Month in the City of Somerton.
We have representatives from the Humane Society. We'll invite.
Thank you. I won't take much time right now since I'll speak in a few minutes, but my name is Annette Lagunas. I'm the Executive Director of the Humane Society of Yuma. Animal cruelty is a really important cause. The majority of people who abuse and hurt adults and children are abusers of animals earlier in their life. So if we can stop that cycle early and catch those people who are abusing animals, hopefully we can save a child, a wife, a husband, a grandparent, an elderly person who's being abused. So it all goes together. It all is hand in hand. And, animals, they do so much for our community and our lives. And it's really important. This is a big day for us. And we truly appreciate all of your support here today. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you. The third proclamation is Administrative Professionals Day.
Whereas administrative professionals play an essential role in coordinating the office operations of businesses, nonprofits, government, educational institutions, and other organizations. And whereas the work of administrative professionals today require advanced knowledge and expertise in communications, computer software, office technology, project management, organization, customer service, and other vital office management responsibilities. And the most importantly, have the willingness to learn and accept new challenges. And whereas administrative professionals are vital contributors in today's team-oriented work environment, and are key frontline public relations ambassadors for their organizations. And whereas Administrative Professionals Day is observed annually in workplaces around the world to recognize the important contributions of administrative support staff and is sponsored by the International Association of Administrative Professionals. And whereas Administrative Professionals Day serves as a time to salute the valuable contributions of administrative professionals in the city of Somerton and to recognize the singular importance of their work in accomplishing the mission and vision of their workplace, of their place of work. And now, therefore, be resolved that I, Gerardo Anaya, Mayor of the City of Somerton, proclaim April 23, 2025 as Administrative Professionals Day in Somerton, Arizona, and encourage all residents to recognize and appreciate their administrative support.
I'd like to invite City of Somerton's administrative professionals that are here in the meeting.
One more. Anybody else?
Anybody gonna give a few words? No? Put you on the spot. We're gonna move on to consent agenda. Is a item 6.1, check register for the month of March 2025. Does any member of council want to remove an item, the item from consent agenda? Is there a motion? So motion by Councilman Galindo,
Second.
second by Councilman Roldan. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We have one presentation, Humane Society of Yuma. By Annette Lagunas, Executive Director.
So thank you guys again for having me, Annette Lagunas, Executive Director of the Humane Society of Yuma. I also have Valerie Beebe with me, and she is our Community Cat Coordinator. And I understand there might be some questions here in a little bit, so we can talk about that here shortly. A couple little things really quick, just again on the animal cruelty stuff. This is Zayn, and he is from your community, and he's the young man that saved the little kitten Peaches from your skate park. So we had a little celebration with him earlier today, and we're super excited. And this day is really kind of revolves around him and what he did out at the skate park. One more thing really quick is I hope you all know that this week is Animal Control Officer Appreciation Week. So I don't know where Officer Rodriguez went. He ran out, of course, so when I try and celebrate him. So anyway, that's all he gets. You can all tell him about it later. So I am going to go ahead and go through this presentation, if that's good. So the mission of the organization is to reduce the number of homeless pets through adoption, rescue, and spay and neuter programs. We try really hard to stick to those few things within our organization, and we partner with all the municipalities in the county. So this is just a little historical timeline. 12 years ago, we were taking in over 9,000 animals when we were at the old facility, which I'm sure many of you remember. We were taking in upwards of 15, 16, 17,000 animals. So we've worked really hard to decrease those animals. And the ones that are coming into the shelter now, we feel are mostly ones that really need our help. So this past year, we did see 6,700 animals into our shelter, which is still a lot for this county. Just a little breakdown of those numbers. So as you can see, lots of dogs coming in, almost 4,000 dogs come into our shelter. And you know, we do a lot of pushing of microchips, trying to get every dog and cat microchip that's owned. And a microchip, it's about the size of a piece of rice. We inject that underneath the skin in between the shoulder blades. Your officer has a little wands that over the animal and is able to come up with that owner information, address, phone number, all of that good stuff, with hopes of returning that animal. But unfortunately, as you can see, we still continue to get a very large amount of dogs into the shelter. And then 2,700 cats. And unfortunately, a large part of those come this time of the year because it is kitten season, which is why you're seeing so many more cats in your community right now. So this is just kind of shows over that same time period, that same 12 years. And you can see back in 2012, we were saving 64% of the animals that came, or the dogs that walked into the shelter. So, you know, in school, we'd be doing what is that, a D? We were doing quite poorly back then. So cats were 43%. So chances are if a cat entered the shelter back then, probably wasn't going to come out. So we've increased those numbers quite a bit. We have in my opinion, a much more caring and loving community now, and we're really trying to do the best we can with these animals. And last year in 2024, we had a 90% live release rate on average throughout the entire year. So that gives us an A in my opinion. But cats were still pretty low at 66%. And the reason that is because we get those little tiny itty bitty babies into the shelter that really mom is the best one to care for those babies, not us. So unfortunately they don't make it. And we also get a lot of sick and injured and hit by car and things like that with the kitties. So 3,200 adoptions, a lot of those are done out of our PetSmart store in the mall. They're in the city of Yuma. Our transfer program is animals that go out of Yuma County and into like Maricopa County. And sometimes they'll go up to Prescott and Flagstaff. So they can go all over the state. We've even sent some up to, I think it was Washington not too long ago. We've gone to Best Friends in Utah. So we transfer animals all over, really all over our country, but the majority of them go up to Maricopa County where there's a lot more people, a lot more opportunities for adoption. Return to owner. So remember that 6,700 animals that came in, only 1,000 people came and picked their animals up. So that's frustrating for us as a staff. However, that number is higher than it's ever been. But with trying to microchip, we're trying to get more and more of those animals home. Return to field, those are cats that have come into the shelter for one reason. Either they've been hit by a car and we fixed them up, or they were sick and injured and we fixed them up, or somebody brought in saying, hey, we found this cat. We don't know what to do with it. And we took it back to where it belongs. We took it back. We made sure it was spayed, neutered, vaccinated, and we put it back. Euthanasia, the worst number of them all, 992. So we did still have to euthanize a large amount of animals. And again, the majority of those being cats for the reasons that we talked about earlier, just failure to thrive. They're just too small or they're sick or injured. Because there was I thought there would be a lot of questions tonight. I wanted to throw this slide up here at you. So the yellow line is our trap, neuter, and return. So these are cats that don't have a home. They may be being fed by somebody, but they are not owned by anybody. So these cats are trapped in a humane trap. They're taken to the shelter or some other program. They're sterilized so they can't have babies. Their ear is tipped, so we know they've been sterilized, and then they're vaccinated. They're vaccinated for rabies and they're vaccinated for feline, upper respiratory, all kinds of like kitty viruses. So they're helping the public in that they're not having babies, which is what is the worst part of it all. They're not having babies. Once these cats are sterilized, the majority of the time, they're going to stop peeing on tires, peeing on boat covers, peeing on front doors, peeing on all the places that we really wish they would not pee on. And they're going to keep those colonies small. Over time, those colonies are naturally going to just go away. And Unfortunately, TNR has been not as, we haven't been as aggressive at TNR as we should be. We should have started way before 2017 is what I'm trying to say. So you can see that the black line is euthanasia of cats. So each year I've been able to look at the number of cats we've TNR'd and the number of cats we've euthanized. The more cats we've TNR'd, trapped, neutered, and returned, the less cats we've had to euthanize. If you look at the COVID time period, we started to go downwards because we stopped doing TNR on the cats because we were saving those medical supplies for hospitals that might need them or other more serious surgeries we needed to do. We stopped doing some of the cats. Well, the euthanasia rate went back up. So there's a direct correlation between us euthanizing cats and us sterilizing these cats and then returning them back to their community. So as you can see, last year we did 1,500 sterilizations of community cats. That does not include, like owned pets. These are cats that are not necessarily owned, that somebody feels they want to feed them and be a good citizen. And so we get them sterilized, vaccinated, and returned. And we can talk more about that here in a minute if you have more questions. So back to our adoptions again, just shelter adoptions. We do them all day long, every day, 7 days a week. If you need a dog or cat, please come see us. Throw my name out there and we'll see if we can make you a deal. And then of course, PetSmart. We love PetSmart, and PetSmart is huge for our community, and all of their dogs and cats all come from the shelter. So just to put a little bit in perspective for you. So our organization in expenses last year was 3.7 million. Our revenue was 3.1. So you numbers guys out there can figure out the constant struggle it is to make ends meet. We run some part of our business off of the municipalities and the animals that come into the shelter, but we rely heavily on donations, grants, events, all of those things to help close those gaps. Running an animal shelter for that amount of animals is very expensive. And over the past 5 years, as you business owners will know, has gotten a lot more expensive to run. So spay neuter is huge, huge, huge. Not only is spay neuter huge with the community cats, but it is with our community owned pets as well. So I, at the most, will have 2 full-time veterinarians. I'm getting ready to lose 1, so I'm back down to like 1 1/4 veterinarians. Veterinarians are very, very hard to come by. They're the only ones that can sterilize these animals and do spay and neuter. Veterinarians are coming out of school with $200,000 to $300,000 in student loans, and working at a nonprofit is not exactly the place they want to go to try and make money to pay off their loans. So all over the country, they're challenging shelters, and nonprofits and municipal entities are really struggling with trying to find veterinarians for the animals in their community. The shelter animals are a priority because we do have to, when we adopt them out, they do have to be sterilized. So we did do 3,000 of those owned. There's not enough low-cost owned services for our community members anywhere in Yuma County. But we were able to get a little over 1,000 of those done. And then again, the community cats at 1,500. So a total of 5,734. And that is our team there. They do a lot of work and they're constantly busy. They get maybe a 30-minute lunch and they're doing 9 to 10-hour days. They're just very, 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 very busy people. So we've done a couple spay and neuter spay-a-thons, and these are all community cats. So that picture there on your right is, I think that was the most recent event that we did, but we did 299 community cats over a 2-day period at the shelter. This was back in March. Prior clinics, we had done 300 to 400. Our goal was 400. You can see we did 300 over all of them, 377 girls, spay is a girl, and 328 neuters, and only 19 of those 700 were already sterilized. So we clearly have a lot more work to do. We do offer low-cost vaccination clinic, and there's all those numbers there, and just a little breakdown of what we charge. We try to stay just under the community veterinarians and really make our prices cost affordable for our citizens of Yuma County, because we know that no matter what somebody's financial situation is, they're going to get a pet, and they deserve to have a pet. And we want to help them keep those pets in their home and keep them healthy so that they can afford any medical care going forward. We run our Four Paws Pantry is a program that helps people who are unable to feed their pets. So if they're facing a situation where buy dinner for their family or buy dinner for their pets, we want them to buy dinner for their family and us help them. So any food that we receive from the community goes all into that pantry. As you can see, there's many different kinds of food that we get donated, but it still helps our community keep those pets in their homes and not feel like they have to turn those animals over to us because they can't properly care for them. So here's Officer Rodriguez's scorecard for this year. Is he back there now? So 159 stray dogs is what he has brought into the shelter. So those are animals that are running, that he doesn't know where the owners belong. One agency assist. So that means that maybe the person was arrested, maybe they were in a car accident, something like that, and their pet was with them. And so that animal comes to the shelter. 4 bite quarantines. So those are animals that have to stay in the shelter for at least 10 days. So state law says that any animal, any dog or cat that bites a person has to be quarantined for 10 straight days to ensure that it didn't have rabies at the time that it bit somebody. 73 cats that were sick or injured he brought into the shelter. 1 cat that was a bite cat that also had to be quarantined. The city of Somerton pays approximately $126 per animal right now. It's costing the Humane Society of Yuma anywhere from $350 to $450 per animal to care for each animal that enters the shelter. 43 cats were trapped, neutered, and returned in 2024, thanks to the partnership of Valerie and Officer Rodriguez. They were able to get those done. And then just this January, they were able to get another 18 done out of one particular colony somewhere here in Somerton. I'm not sure where, but somewhere here in Somerton, they were able to get that done. So again, just thanks for the proclamation and the support. The orange is the color, if you haven't already figured that out. And I've got there's some wristbands rolling around here. So I think you guys the council was being provided those tonight. So again, thank you so much for all your guys' support. I think that's the last slide. Yep.
Any questions or comments?
I have a,
Councilman
well,
Gonzalez.
we all know we have a huge cat problem here in Somerton. I've had the pleasure of having her at my home, putting some traps around, and Officer Rodriguez as well. Is there any, I don't know if other municipalities have any policies in place. I don't own any pets. Our neighborhood is full of cats. And there's people that feed them, and I'm assuming that's why they stay, but it's a nuisance. My truck's all scratched up. They get into the cars and pee in the cars. My front yard is full of poop. Is there any policies in place in other municipalities where if you feed them, they're considered your pets? Anything of that sort?
So the city of Yuma has a policy that says that if you're going to feed cats, you have to be working with an organization like ours to sterilize them. It does the city no good whatsoever if somebody's feeding them and they're not sterilizing them. Cats are not only sticking around because they're being fed, they're sticking around because they're making babies. That's the other reason. So if we can eliminate one of those, we are going to decrease those colonies a lot. The problem is that there's just so many of them right now, and it's gone untreated for such a long time. If you created a code, somebody said to me one time, a long time ago, you can't codify kindness. You can't go out there and tell somebody, I'm going to issue you a ticket because you're just trying to be kind to an animal. It really doesn't work well. There's been a lot of studies to show that that does not work well. And a lot of times we're putting our officers in a situation that is uncomfortable for them. Ideally, what we do and what the city of Somerton does is I've asked for a couple years that we need to get a grant through the Arizona license plate grant. We've got to get that grant. We can get $10,000. All of that money can go to the city of Somerton to help sterilize those cats. There's things that you can put in your yards to try and keep those cats out. There's different types of, ultrasonic things that put an ultrasonic sound out that will get those cats to just kind of go away. There's different types of powders and there's just a lot of different things that Valerie can help any citizen of Somerton with figuring out what's the best for their area and their home. We at the Humane Society, we truly understand the frustration. I just realized the other day I had a male cat running around my house, and I haven't had one in many, many years. Where it came from, I have no idea. And it's frustrating because they pee on everything. But taking those cats out, we could come down here, we could collect 300 cats from the city of Somerton. We could take them away. You're still going to have the same problem because you still have people that are feeding and they're not being sterilized. Those cats have to be sterilized in order to stop this cycle, because trying to just pluck them out and just remove them is just going to make you go crazy. What's that? The definition of insane, doing the same thing over and over with no change. That's it. So we have to sterilize those cats, or else you're going to continue to just be frustrated and frustrated and frustrated and frustrated. So, and that's where we really want to help. We really want to help you guys. And that's why we've been trying to partner together so much, because you guys are a smaller community and we should be able, and you're a little bit more compact than, like, say, city of Yuma, that's bigger and a little more laid out. We should be able to handle this and control it. With all of that said, I would like you to just think about, is there some places that in these communities, like, I haven't been personally out to your area, but is there an area that's like the park that we were at tonight? Can we set up a feeding station at the park where we're pushing those cats more over into those types of areas, kind of out of sight, out of mind, and not on everybody's cars, not on your front door, not in those areas, but really create, maybe if there's some sort of basin somewhere that we could create some nice areas for some of these cats. And again, push them into those locations. And you can have the people that are truly passionate about these cats care for them. Let them care for them. Let them go out and feed. Let them make sure that they're sterilized. Let them work with Valerie to ensure that they're being maintained. That would be my biggest recommendation for you. We've come out many times. We love your community. I live here and I really want to help you guys fix this problem. But also, let me tell you, you're not the only ones. The entire county is having this problem. The entire county, whether you're Welton, Tacna, San Luis, everybody's California, I could go on and on. It's everywhere that doesn't freeze in the winter is having this problem. So I don't know if that answered your question, but I'm more than willing to help. I'm more than willing to have Valerie take me out with you and go check it out. But I'm not a fan of punishing someone for feeling like there need to be kind to another being, if that makes sense to you. But I do think we should put something in place that if you're feeding, you need to be sterilizing too. Yeah, for sure.
Councilwoman
Do we-
Sultan?
Do we have a policy in place of, I know we're just talking about cats right now, but I've seen houses where they open the door and you've got about 9 or 10 cats that are coming out, and I'm pretty sure they're not, they're not fixed or anything like that. Is there anything that we can do in place? I mean, or call and let them know what's going on, and can something be done?
Cats are not, the state of Arizona, and this is where I'm sure Chief will correct me if I'm wrong, but the state of Arizona, there's no law that governs cats. That's part of the problem, is that there's no law that says, cats have to have X, Y, and Z. However, Title 13 is an animal cruelty ordinance. That ordinance says that you cannot hoard animals. But hoarding means that you're creating pain and suffering for them, or they're sick and you're not providing medical care. So those cats, said cats, would have to be sick and the people would have to be overwhelmed with what's happening. Now you guys can set ordinances, and they have this in the city of Yuma where you can only have 5 pets. You can only have 6 pets. They have lots of those ordinances. And even in some of the areas of the county, you're only allowed 1 horse per however acreage, it's the same type of thing. But again, trying to get somebody to give up their cats, it's a lot easier for your officer to go in there and say, how can I help you? How can we work together? Like, do you really need all of these cats? And are they sterilized? Can I help you get them sterilized? And what does that look like? Does that look like me giving you a voucher? Does that mean, Officer Rodriguez going up to the Humane Society and saying, hey, I have this person that really needs the help. Is there any way you can get us in and sterilize 9 cats for them? So we don't make this problem bigger. But the fact that Arizona doesn't govern cats is I think, kind of ties your hands in some regard.
Any other questions or comments?
Just a
Yeah,
quick
Councilwoman.
question. What are some things that people can do to have them stay away from?
You want to
Wow.
answer that? Do the deterrence.
Hello, I'm Valerie. I have a few residents right now doing kind of like science projects. We don't know what's gonna work. It depends on the area. How long have the cats been there? When did they just show up? So there's anything from coffee grounds to orange pills. Then there's cat pellets. You could get them at Ace Hardware, any hardware store. Are those gonna work? We don't know. Again, people are doing little science projects right now. We have the ultrasonic sensors. They make that horrible sounding. So they see, it's a sensor, they see movement, and then it automatically makes this annoying noise, and the cats and the dogs don't like it. But again, is it gonna work? We don't know. And then we have the sprinkler. That's a sensor as well. So it sees a cat or a dog going across the lawn and starts spraying. We also have people who are saying that I believe it's your Jeep. You have a Jeep, right? So I see that garage and I'm like, hey, let's, why don't we put the Jeep in the garage? And you probably have a lot of stuff in the garage, but try to figure out a way to get that Jeep inside, or get a cover, or there's so many things that we can try, but again, is it gonna work? We don't know. So yeah.
My Jeep was a victim too, in the garage,
The male cats love the Jeep. I don't know. Do they want to go for a ride? I don't know.
And the other thing is, if like you have plants, like even a garden, you can put forks down in there, and you can use clear forks and put them where the little forks are sticking up. Cats don't like to step on anything pokey. So cats are real finicky about their paws. So they don't like to be wet, which is why the water works. So there's, you know, some of those things that you can do, but you just put those forks in your flower beds, in your little gardens, your pots that have flowers, you know, and that should also, like Valerie said, we have all these things, some work, some don't. We just got to keep trying until we find what does.
This grant that you mentioned, is that a
Yes.
competitive grant or how many are given a year?
It is a competitive grant, and it's set by the state of Arizona, our governor. I happen to be the chairman of that committee, and I'm happy to help you write it. You can write one for low cost public surgery, so owned animals. You can get up to $10,000 with that. And you can also do it for community cats. So you can get up to $10,000 for each of those. And what it is, it's the license plate with the little dog and cat on it. So those plates, I think they're $25 and $17 of every plate goes into this fund. So we're able to grant out, I think it's like $400,000 or $500,000 to municipalities and nonprofits every year. So the grant should open in August of this year. And again, I think it's a great grant. I personally sit on the board and do everything I can to get money into Yuma County. So.
And on the statistics at the end, which was for Somerton, 43 trapped in 2024 and then 18 in January. And so my question, I guess, would be for our animal control officer. What was the difference between, was it you found a colony and trapped them, or what was the?
The 18.
On Ramona Street.
Okay.
We received a call regarding cats on Angelica, East Angelica. And we went there, and backyard was like 18, 17 cats out there. So we started trapping, of course, with the help with the Humane Society. We trapped them and took them and sterilized all those 18 cats. So,
And
but
they went back to the residents.
yeah, they have to come back as soon as they finish with them. They have to bring them back.
And how long did the trapping take? Like, was it the whole month or
No,
No.
about 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
It was 2 weeks. Yes.
That is,
And if
at that home? Those 18 cats
Yeah,
in one home?
just one home, yes.
If I could just say, it cost us about $77.50 per cat. So I have to pay all those veterinarians, all of the anesthesia, all of the support staff to do all of that. And we don't charge the city of Somerton anything for all of those services. So, but thanks to your officer and your police chief and captain, we've been able to do that. And people like that 18 will work with them and say, hey, are there any cats that you want to maybe get rid of? And if there's kittens that are nice that maybe we can adopt out, we do try that as well to try and depopulate them.
Any other questions or comments?
The availability of that.
Uh,
You guys don't have that, correct?
Yeah, a lot of the Officer Rodriguez is just asking me to also just say that all of this is dependent on our veterinarians. I am a veterinary technician by trade, but I do not have a license to spay and neuter animals. That has to be all from a license in the state of Arizona veterinarian, and that's hard to come by. So all of these TNR surgeries really kind of, it goes in waves because it depends on what we have for veterinarians in our community that are able to sterilize these cats.
I add something.
One more thing.
I do have many residents, citizens in Somerton asking for these appointments, for TNR appointments. If they are not able to get an appointment through me, they call the private vets, and a female cat, a private vet is charging up to $800 for a female cat. And our low-cost clinic, I believe is 95 now, $95 for a female cat. Now, there's between domestic cat, inside cat, and a community cat, which is outside. The TNR program, it's ran under donations and grants, so the program is free.
Councilman Galindo.
Like you mentioned, you got 18 cats that were trapped at this location. Is there a way we can, like you guys, say, you know what, you have 18 cats, we spay and neuter them and everything, we're returning it to you. Can give a donation, do you guys ask for a donation for those families? Because it's not fair for you guys, or, you know.
Yeah, right.
My cat, if I want it back, then I'll give you
Yeah.
a donation, I don't know, do you guys do that?
We ask, we try. Yeah, we do the best we can. I may be hitting you guys up here in the next couple of months. We are partnering with another municipality here in the next couple weeks that we're gonna have a QR code. The city of San Luis is really working to start a similar program out there in their community. And so we're gonna put some little change jars out, hopefully, and a QR code where people can donate directly to their community to help sterilize those cats. Because, you know, there are people out there that do want to help, and we do ask those people with the 18, but usually they're feeding 18 cats, and so they're already a little strapped for cash when they're buying all that food. So
The resident did hand deliver me cash.
okay.
So, yes.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Well, I have a comment. Obviously it's an issue, so it's probably something that it needs to, at least as a staff, council, the community, we can get different stakeholders and try to come up with something that will work. Obviously, we need to maybe, of course, a grant, but maybe put more attention to what we need to do as a community, as a council, and to actually be more proactive with this issue. So something, if council members, if you have any ideas, talk to Louis, and then we can, here in a further date, and it's a good time because we're working on the budget, so maybe we can budget some funds for this issue too. Yeah.
Councilwoman, instead of cheap, but someone else.
Yeah. That could be the trap. Yeah, thank you. We have one item in public hearing. Is there a motion to enter public hearing, open public hearing?
So move, Mayor.
So motion by Councilman Roldan,
Second, Mayor.
second by Councilman Galindo. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. So it's public hearing related to minor general plan amendment, case PLN25-0023.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council. This is the public hearing related to minor general plan amendment case PLN 25-0023 and rezoning case PLN 25-0024. A set of requests by Vianey Vega of Vega and Vega Engineering on behalf of Comite de Bienestar, Inc. to amend the general plan land use designation of APN 195-33005 from low density residential to medium density residential, and to rezone said parcel from R16 single family residential to R2 with PD overlay, multifamily residential with planned development overlay. The purpose of these requests is to allow the future development of a new 84 lot mixed density subdivision consisting of 58 single family detached lots and 26 attached townhouse lots. At this point, I'd like to show the location map of the parcel so that we can begin the more detailed conversation of proposal. So this is the parcel 195-33004. It's on the southwest corner of Madison Street and Cesar Chavez Avenue. The parcel is approximately 14.76 acres in size, so just under 15 acres. The current general plan land use designation is low density residential, and the current zoning is R16. What this means is that the general plan land use designation and the zoning is identical to what is next door for single family detached houses. The current use is agriculture, and the current owner is Comite de Bienestar, Inc. The request is for a minor general plan land use amendment from low density to medium density and rezoning from R16 to R2 with PD overlay. The purpose of this, once again, is to allow the development of a new 84 lot mixed density subdivision, which I'd like to show you the conceptual plat at this point. Could you one slide down, please? Or actually 2 or 3 down, you'll see it. There we go. If approved, this would be the second subdivision, well, the second minor general plan and rezoning, which would allow a subdivision of various densities. The first one was the Somerton 1918 subdivision, which was approved last year. So as I mentioned earlier, the proposal is for 26 townhouse lots, which are located on the corner there, the right bottom corner. And the remainder of the lots would be for single family detached townhouses, detached homes, and 1 tract for stormwater retention. The conceptual plat shows connection into the previously approved Comite townhouse subdivision, which is what you see on the right upper corner, and also 4 additional points of connection out to Cesar Chavez, 1 connection point north towards Madison Street, and 2 connection points onto a future Toro Avenue. The minor general plan amendment and rezoning case would includes the acquisition of right-of-way along Madison Street and on Toro Avenue to accommodate future transportation improvements such as pathways and half-street improvements. Up to this point, staff has received no opposition to the project. Any questions so far from the council? Staff considers this proposal standard and compatible with the objectives of the 2020 general plan and the city's vision for growing the Somerton West area growth area. At the March 17th regular meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission, the commission voted to approve both minor general plan amendment case PLN25-00223 and rezoning case 25-00224 with the conditions listed in Exhibit A. The conditions of approval are included in the staff report and also on Exhibit B. During the action items that will precede this public hearing, staff's recommendations for both cases will be for approval with conditions. Would the council like to go over the conditions of approval?
Yes, go ahead.
Exhibit B, Andrea, please. Oh, I'm sorry. No, that's could you just go to Exhibit A? There might be a. There we go. They're actually in Exhibit A. I'm sorry. Yeah. Conditions of approval, Exhibit A, Mayor and Council. So there are as follows. Number 1 is a standard condition. The conditions listed below are in addition to city codes, rules, fees, and regulations that are applicable to this action. Number 2, the owner/developer shall dedicate additional 22 feet of right-of-way along Madison Street, County 15th Street to accommodate future transportation improvements, and so that the right-of-way width measured from the center line of Madison Street to the property line measures 55 feet total. So that'll match up exactly to what currently exists to the east. Number 3, the owner/developer shall dedicate an additional 35 feet of right-of-way along Toro Avenue, alignment Avenue F and quarter to accommodate future transportation improvements, and so that the right-of-way width measured from the center line of Toro Avenue to the property line measures 35 feet total. Number 4 is the owner/developer shall dedicate a 40 by 40 visibility triangle right-of-way corner on the southwest corner of the intersection of Toro Avenue and Madison Street. Number 5 is the owner/developer acknowledges and agrees that any future subdivision plats submitted for review shall adhere to the prescribed development standards of the R15 and R3 zoning districts to be granted a 5% usable open space requirement. If the proposed plat does not meet the development standards of the aforementioned districts, the 20% PD overlay open space requirement shall apply, and a separate development agreement will need to be agreed upon with the city of Somerton as part of the subdivision plat. Basically, what that says, Mayor and Council, is that even though they're requesting this R2 zoning with a PD overlay, what they're actually building is very similar to the R15 and R3 zoning districts. It's just that staff believes that it's better for them to have one zoning district instead of two. As long as they stick to the R15 and R3 zoning districts, they would be able to get this 5% usable open space. This is what was agreed also for the Somerton 1918 project, and it worked out. It's going to work out pretty well. Number 6 is the conditions. Conditions number 2, 3, and 4 above shall be completed within 1 year of the effective date of the rezoning ordinance. So regardless of the plat being submitted or not, the right-of-way dedication would have to occur for the rezoning to be in compliance with the conditions of approval. Any questions?
Are you done with the presentation?
That concludes my presentation, Mayor.
Okay, I want to open it to the public. Anybody from the public want to comment? There's none. Any questions from council? There's none. Is there a motion to close a public hearing?
So move, Mayor.
Motion by Councilman Roldan. Second by Vice Mayor Delgadillo. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Here, we're gonna move on to new business. Item number 1, discussion and possible action related to resolution number 2025-009.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. The item before you on the agenda is the action item related to the minor general plan amendment that was just discussed at the public hearing. A resolution is required to formalize the minor general plan amendment of assessor's parcel 195330005 from low density residential to medium density residential. If there are no further questions, staff is asking for 2 motions tonight. One is to approve minor general plan amendment case PLN25-00023 with the conditions listed in Exhibit A, and a separate motion to approve resolution number 2025-009 formalizing the general plan amendment.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion there to approve resolution 2025-009. And also the other one is for to amend the general land use designation. So?
To approve the minor general plan amendment
Okay,
case.
so approve them. So I'll make a motion.
There's a motion by Councilman Roldan,
Second.
second by Vice Mayor Delgadillo. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. There's a second, this motion, is there a motion to approve resolution number 20, or your motion was for both, right?
Yes, for
Okay,
both.
well, can that be done? Okay. Item number 9.2, discussion and possible action to approve the first reading by title only of ordinance number 2025-001.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. This item before you on the agenda is the action item related to the rezoning. So the rezoning requires an ordinance in order of first and second reading of an ordinance in order to be finalized. Tonight, staff is asking for approval of ordinance number 2025-001 by title only, the first reading. And then we're also asking for a separate motion to approve the rezoning case unless if they can do both with one motion.
Is there a motion?
Make a motion, Mayor.
For both?
Yes.
So
Approve both
motion by
items.
Councilman Roldan,
Second.
second by Vice Mayor Delgadillo. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Go ahead.
Mayor, Council, this is ordinance number 2021-001, an ordinance of the city of Somerton amending ordinance number 2015-002 and rezoning certain areas in the city for real property described as APN 195-33004. I'm sorry, that should be 005. A 14.73 acre parcel, more or less, and more particularly described in Exhibit A, attached here too from R16 to R2 with plan development overlay.
That's it, no? No more motions. Took care of that, right? Okay, okay, okay.
Thank you, Mayor,
Thank you.
Vice Mayor.
Item 9.3, discussion and possible action to approve the City of Somerton professional agreement.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, Terry Trujillo, HR Manager. The agenda item before you today is the City of Somerton Professional Assistance Agreement. Due to the high cost involved in the different trainings processes for citywide staff, HR is proposing the use of a professional assistance agreement be executed for those positions that require extensive and ongoing certification requirements. The proposed agreement will be used for City of Somerton employees attending various certification programs. If the employee fails to complete the course or achieve a passing grade, or if voluntary separates from their employment with the City of Somerton during designated time on the agreement following the completion of the training, the employee agrees to repay the cost and expenses incurred by the city for the employee's training and requirements on a prorated basis. The agreement will be used when applicable for those positions requiring funds for training and maintaining a certification. Legal counsel has reviewed the proposed draft agreement and has provided input. Staff is recommending a motion for approval of the City of Somerton Professional Assistance Agreement.
Any questions or comments? Vice Mayor Delgadillo?
Terry, so you're saying that if an employee achieves a passing grade, they have to repay the cost?
That's only if they leave the City of Somerton within a certain time. And that's something that we would be working on. So say if they finished their certification in a month and they leave the City of Somerton, the City of Somerton would seek reimbursement from that employee.
Then we need to rewrite that because that's not what it says.
Okay,
That's if you read it, it says if the employee fails to complete course or achieve a passing grade. So you're telling me that, you know, as an employee, if I achieve a passing grade, I have to repay the cost.
Yeah, but it says voluntary separation.
Right, or if voluntary separation.
So just to clarify from a legal perspective, and we can always revise this, but the way it's been written right now, Mayor and Council, is there are repayment obligations depending on if they resign. But I think you're talking, Councilmember, about Section 3, which says that there are requirements if the employee does not achieve a passing grade in the development, training, or certification, in which case they're required to repay, if you look at Section 3, the entirety of that. And it shall be due within 15 days of a non-passing grade.
Okay.
That's a policy decision for the council. It's not unusual in cities and towns, but sometimes if it's close, they can be allowed a second chance to retake it. But right now, it is set up to require that if you're paying for that certification, they're going to go to class, take the course and pass, or they're going to pay it back. And if they resign within so much, within a certain period, they would pay it back. So that's a council policy decision, but you're correct. Right now, it requires a passing grade.
Right, but you just said does not achieve a passing grade. And in the wording at the top says,
That's the discussion, right? But the contract, does it reflect what's written in the discussion?
The contract, Section 3, if employee does not achieve a passing grade in the approved professional development course, training, or certification, employee shall be required to repay the entirety of the professional assistance payment to employer. Such repayment by employee shall be due to employer within 15 business days of employee's receipt of a non-passing grade.
yes, that's perfect.
Yeah, so the way it was written, the council report, it wasn't very clear.
That's why at
about
the
this
top, when she was reading
The
at the top where it
presentation.
says
Presentation.
achieving passing grade, so
Yeah.
kind of conflicts, it does not achieve or achieves.
No.
Uh-huh.
Sorry about
Okay,
that.
that's why I was like, I want
council
to make
members.
sure that it's on the record that if they do not achieve,
Yes, if they
not
do
that
not
they
achieve.
achieve a passing grade. Okay, it's because that's how it's written at the top. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Is there a motion? So motion by Vice Mayor Delgadillo,
Second that motion.
second by Councilman Roldan, those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're gonna move on to summary of current events.
Yes, Mayor. We have James Jones, Parks and Recreation.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. James Jones, Parks and Recreation Director. Tomorrow, we'll have our Easter celebration at the Senior Center from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. On April 24th is our Arbor Day event with our park staff. We'll be at Paracone Park at 9 a.m. until the completion of it. We're planting 8 trees on the east and west side to kind of provide some protection from balls rolling out in the streets. And lastly, I want to thank the council for attending the Paracone Park opening. We had a large attendance on that day with our soccer players. It was really good to showcase our community to Mickey Rogers and the media. It kind of helped promote our city, and I appreciate you guys for coming. Thank you very much.
Mayor, that's all we have.
Councilman Castillo. Councilman Castillo. Councilwoman Gonzalez.
I have nothing.
Councilman Galindo.
I have nothing, Mayor. Thank you.
Councilman Roldan.
Just attended the ceremony for the park, and it was nice to see all the soccer kids. I think they're gonna have now a place where they can practice, because this field was so much segregated. Now we need to see if there's any grants out there that we can find for the lights, and so we can, have different fields available, especially the soccer season. I just passed by to drop my son, and I see the parking lot is full, which is good, I think it's nice to see the field, filled with a lot of soccer players. So I think that's gonna alleviate that. So time there's a receding, then they can use that field for practice and so forth. So, thank you. And it was nice to see the mayor score a couple goals there for kids.
Two.
Thank you. That's all.
Vice Mayor.
I attended the Personnel Committee meeting this past week, and so it's progressing really, really well. That's all.
And when I spoke at the ribbon cutting, I did not thank staff. So I want to thank staff for all your hard work on the Paracone Park. A lot of departments were involved, so thank you. And that's it. We have 2 items in executive session. The first one is discussion or consideration for appointment of a new municipal court judge. And the second one is discussion or consultation for legal advice with city attorney regarding benefit and retirement options for city council. Is there a motion to enter into executive session? So motion by Vice Mayor Delgadillo,
Second, Mayor.
second by Councilman Roldan. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So we're gonna take a 5-minute break, and I was almost forgetting it's Vice Mayor's birthday, so happy birthday.
Today, 29.
Today, 60 years old. to reconvene into regular council meeting.
Second, Mayor.
So motion by Vice Mayor Delgadillo, second by Councilman Roldán, those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries to 8:40, meeting's adjourned.
Vámonos.
¿Qué va a hacer, nena, ahorita?
Yeah.